of the master's plan, male or female. If as a man you do not let the woman emerge and manifest the talent and the portion of the full agenda that the Lord has placed in her, you are destroying the Lord's plan and you will account for it. That is the truth.
Hello, my name is Ibuku Awoshika, and it's definitely my pleasure to spend this time with you speaking to the MBA graduating class of 2020. ALU is definitely a good foundation and a good place to walk out from with a degree like you have. Because knowing Fred and his team and being a fellow of the Aspen Institute myself, and knowing that Fred, as a fellow, has invested in this vision of the mindset of our fellowship program, which prepares us to move from being successful to being significant in impacting in our society and in the lives of others. And he has done an amazing job with his obviously great team to build a university that is resetting and reshaping the mindset of Africa's future leaders in terms of the economic space and life in itself, from the younger teenage group to seniors like you graduating from the MBA class. Whenever I have to speak to a class like yours, it simply reminds me of my own experience of business school, and I realized just how much lifelong values is added in the course of being a part of a program like yours. And with a reasonable class size like you have, you would realize that it's very easy for you to bond, to be highly integrated, and to remain lifelong friends, looking out for each other and helping each other to find your way as you walk along the path of life. Don't take that part of it for granted, because you would find at the end of the day that our ability to do great things does not just depend on us, it depends on the community that we lean on and the kind of support system that we have. So as you're concluding this part of the program, just know that you're starting a different phase of your life. As you've finished this aspiration to have a broader view of management, a better understanding of how to engage with your economic spaces or whatever world you play in, because I can see you're all from diverse industries and different countries across Africa. You represent the future of the unity that we require across the continent in order to show the rest of the world the greatness that resides within our continent and the brilliance of the minds of Africans, especially this next generation of Africans who are able to engage and to compete on any platform, anywhere around the world. It always gives me great pleasure when I see, as a Nigerian, young Nigerians, or Nigerians in general, at the top of their game in different spaces across the world, especially when you look at a country like America. And whilst they might not fully understand or put in perspective the value that we bring, but when you see the different Africans and Nigerians in particular who are holding key positions, adding great value to the economy of the countries where they have chosen to live, you realize how much work we need to do to make sure that we build an environment that draws on their talent rather than give their talent as a gift to other parts of the world. So as you conclude this, realize that the knowledge you have gained from here is only to prepare you for what you're going to do next. And what you do with it will depend on how you apply your learnings, your relationships, and your opportunities. Your learnings, your relationships, and your opportunities. Your learning, your relationships, and your opportunities. Your learnings will remain just academic knowledge until you choose to combine them with who you are in terms of your skills and your thinking, to combine them with that and apply it to a challenge or a problem that is staring you in the eyes in your community, and you seek to be the real game changer, the problem solver that changes how things happen around you. Whether you choose to do that in a corporate organization or in the public sector, and I particularly say that because the best of our minds seem stuck in the private sector, yet the decisions made by the public sector drives the actions and the activities and has great impact on our private sector. And somehow we seem to have it wrong. We're all afraid of engaging with our public sector because of the opportunity to be compromised that we see and the lack of systems that facilitates our ability to perform at our best that we see. Yet, the change that is required in those sectors would need great minds like yours to sacrificially make the choice to change things in order for us to have the kind of public sector that we need to engage with the kind of private sector that we all want to see thrive and emerge in our countries. Until we get those two working well, we are limited to the extent of the ability of our policymakers in the public sector to engage with factors that affect the private sector. As you close this chapter, I want you not to close your eyes to the real challenges and issues within the continent. To whom much is given, I know that much is expected. I want you to understand that your education is an opportunity, even though you've paid for it through your savings or your company sponsored you or you've worked hard to make sure you got here. Good. But you didn't do it for nothing. The value of what you've done will, at the end of the day, or must at the end of the day, serve the community within which you will live. Because, no matter what you and I have or what we achieve for ourselves, except our larger community is working, we will have to build houses with high fences to protect ourselves from the troubles that can come the day the system turns against us. Not because we've done anything, but simply because of who we are and what we have. And of recent, that showed up in Nigeria. Of recent, we had to deal with genuine, sincere protests by young Nigerians for the right reasons. But at the end of the day, other people who had other interests, but who had been disenfranchised in many other ways, decided it was their time to engage with the system. But to the best of their understanding, they only engaged with destruction. And at the end of the day, innocent private sector people who were trying to build both for the country and for themselves and their families were the victims of their action. The reality is, we're only as strong as our weakest link. if we don't take care of the least of us, the best of us cannot go to sleep at night peacefully. So I dare to challenge you, because at your level you're matured enough to understand what I'm talking about. A lot, you have invested in yourself, and a lot has been invested in you too. And you all work in various industries across your countries. But more importantly, you are positioned to have influence in whatever space you function. And I want you to understand that the power of influence that you have with your education and your opportunity is not just to make money for yourself. It is to build a better society so that even you can go to sleep at night and be at rest in your home. This is our continent, and it has everything that it needs. I've always said that God was partial to us in Africa. That's why we are the center of the resources that the whole world wants. But there's a system that we haven't built in order to maximize that value that we have. We have the human minds, like you. We have the resources. Yes, abundance of natural resources. We have the human capital. Yes, they might not all be pruned and ready for the service, but you are part of that human capital that has been pruned and ready for service. And I'm saying to you today, as you step out of this place, do not just think about the high office that your knowledge and your certificate offers you, but think about what comes with that high office and the responsibility that you have for being the Africans that are enlightened, educated, and have the capacity to influence. Never be quiet when you should speak, and don't speak when you should be quiet. Be a builder and an encourager, because there are many around you who are in despair, and your voice can lift them up. The opportunity you present to them just by reaching out can make the difference. And one thing that is yet missing is that we need to build a critical mass of enlightened, educated, empowered, and enabled Africans who across their different countries can stand for right values, governance, and proper ethics, so we can build a society that will work for all of us the way we want it to. A society where we can freely express ourselves and do the things we need to do without fear of compromise. That responsibility is yours and mine. It's the responsibility of those of us who walk into places of opportunity like you just did. Your MBA is not for decoration. It's not just something else to add on your CV. It's to give you a preparation of knowledge, of values that will support building an equitable society where you can live at peace, where your neighbors can live at peace, and where your children can look forward to growing up in. Honestly, I don't want to spend a lot of African resource to train my children in the best schools around the world, but for the benefit of other parts of the world other than my country or my continent. I hope you feel like I do too, because otherwise, as I say, slave trade all over again, if our resources are for the benefit of another. Every time I think about our poor health institutions and our paucity of medical human capital, and I remember that all the doctors that are trained in, if I use my country as an example, in Nigerian universities funded by government, paying minimal fees, are trained, but most of them have an ambition and an aspiration to work in any other place but in Nigeria, simply because we haven't provided an environment of encouragement for them like they need. So we're giving away our resources for free to other economies. We invest the resources of our nation to train the people that we need. But because we do not run the right system to retain them, we lose them to other economies and other systems. It doesn't seem sustainable to me. So I'm challenging you. Yes, everything will not work as you want, but think about how you will make it work as you want, even though it's not working like that. And if you're one of the lucky ones and everything is working around you, then go and help the ones that have the problem of making it work and see how you add value. And your network of being Africans from different countries, working together, thinking together, makes you a powerful bloc that can create a lot of change on the continent as you learn to stand with each other, to support one another, to create the change that is required on the continent. One of the things I value the most is having the right support system. Having friends that think like you, have similar type aspirations, value what you value, and can move with you when you move without you having to apologize about why you're that ambitious or why you want to change the world. That's what you find when you're a cluster, as you are, like a business school cluster. So that's an asset. Work out how you keep it, and keep your togetherness, and build on it, and help each other, and help ALU to prepare more people like you so we can build the critical mass. So, as your program comes to an end, close the program, but don't close the impact and the work that you will do with it. And as you complete the graduation ceremonies today, go on and celebrate and make the rest of your life a celebration. Make sure the things you do will cause you to be celebrated, and make sure the words that you speak will cause others to be celebrated, because you build, you encourage, and you do not destroy. And make sure that at the end of your days, when you're done, in the way that you would have lived, and for the things that you would have done, for the legacy that you would have built that is beyond money or whatever material things you will have, that your life will be worthy of celebration because of the right kind of impact that you would have. And never ever forget, you owe it to yourself to live the best life that you can. But not just a life, but to live a life of great legacy and impact on the face of the earth. Congratulations once again. Enjoy your graduation and have a great evening. Thank you for having me.